Okay, me again, Jolene from Home Stitchery Decor. So this is a second video in this series of refreshing my Christmas living room and whatever else I can make with one tablecloth that I purchased from Winners. So far I made a pillow and I did a video on that. I will link the video right here if you want to go watch that one. It'll be linked at the end if you want to watch it when we're done this one. And then I actually cut out 3 more pillows. So I'm going to have 4 pillows total. Pillow shams total from one tablecloth that I bought from Winners. And now I thought, okay, well, what could I make next for my living room? And then I went upstairs and I measured my coffee table. It's 48 inches and decided that I'm going to do a table runner for it. Table runners are typically 6 inches on either end longer than the table itself. And I have enough fabric to do that. So that is what I'm going to make next here with this batch of fabric. So, yeah, it was quite a large tablecloth. I believe it was 60 by 120 that this tablecloth was. So I'm doing quite well with it. And so basically what I've done now is I'm just going to fold the tablecloth in half. And I know that this is going to be it's going to be longer than 60 inches, I believe, when I measured this out here a second ago. Oh, it's going to be just shy. So right now, this is at 29 inches. And I'm going to cut my table runner with the pattern of the fabric. So I guess the only way else I could do it is this way. Will that work? No, because the fabrics, no, it's not going to work that way. So I do want to do it this way anyway, just because of the way the pattern goes on this fabric. So my table runner is not going to be quite 6 inches on either end. It'll be more like 5, and I'm going to be okay with that. Okay, so what I want to do now is I basically want to cut the table runner along with the pattern. So I want, quite a bit of the pretty pattern showing. And I have quite a wide coffee table. So I believe table runners are typically like the minimum is 15 inches for how wide they are. But because I want to do it where I'm accentuating the pattern in this fabric, I'm basically going to do whatever the heck I want, which is fantastic. I love that about my life. I can do what I want. Okay, so if I fold this down here for a hem, I'm going to square this part up. And I fold it down here for a hem. Then I would have 2 of these in the center. So I'm going to lose a little bit on this end and a little bit on this end. So basically what I'm going to do, because I want the pattern to be pretty well straight, is I'm going to unfold the fabric and then just cut along the line of the pattern here. And this way, because I don't have 2 layers, I'll be able to line it up pretty good. So I know I want to feature 2 of these. And so if I account for my hem, I will do just to the top of the pattern here on this side. So I'll actually bring my camera around to show you guys. So here's what I'm talking about. I want to have 2 of these large patterns featured, so I can cut some off of this edge over here. And I'm going to line my ruler up just as I'm starting the new pattern. So I'm just going to pick essentially the middle of this flower. So I'm going to pick the middle of this flower here, and I'm going to cut my fabric, length of fabric, all the way, just by cutting a little bit. It's a little time consuming, but this way I'll get my pattern. And I'm just picking in the middle of this sunflower, and I'll line it up to the next one at the top here. And we'll do that the whole length. So it's really, you know, it's the quality of the products that you produce, right? So yes, this is taking me a minute to figure out, but I will be happier with this in the end. When this all kind of lines up here perfectly. Okay, right here. And then over the edge. There we go. So now if you can see, we've got just a little bit of this pattern all the way across. All the way across, so it'll be perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the same on this other end. And we're going to pick a spot to start, and we want it to be approximately the same amount for this end as it was for this side. Okay, now we've got everything straightened out here. I know that it's 18 inches, 18 and a quarter inches actually, by 29, and then it's doubled, right? So there's 2 layers here. So what I'm going to do is just put this off to the side, so I know I need 18 and a half, or sorry, 18 and a quarter by 29. Oh, sorry, there were my scissors falling off the floor. And I've got some cotton muslin. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the muslin to the same size. Okay, so now here's what's going to happen. Put your material, your tablecloth material, right side down on top of your cotton muslin, and we're essentially just going to sew a great big sack. So I'm using a straight stitch and white thread to do this. And we're just going to go around the whole length. I did not pin this. You could use wonder clips or pins if you wanted to. But this is fairly easy to line up. It's straight. If you just go slow, if you're not experienced, you will be fine. If you feel like pinning it, you can use pins like this. And if you don't want to use those, you could use the wonder clips, and I'll put a picture right here for you guys of what the wonder clips are. And anything I share for links will be in the video description or in the first comment for you guys to get the supplies. So just go round and round we go, and we're going to leave an opening, which I probably should have done a little bit differently. I will leave an opening, and then next time I'll show you how to do it a different way. I should have left an opening at the start and just started like midstream here, but whoops. Because I've done so much of this stuff, I can fix it. So we'll just go around. Here's a good place for an opening. Back stitch a little bit. Pull your pull your presser foot up. Clip your ends. Leave a wide opening. This is quite a bit of fabric, so you're going to want to leave an opening that you'll be able to pull the fabric through, 3 or 4 inches here, and then just start again. And then all the way down to the end. You're going to find that some of this tablecloth material is a little bit stretchy. And so when you get to the end here, just make sure that you're lined up with the fabric underneath before you turn the corner, and you can cut off any excess that you have in the next step. So you just want to make sure to catch it when you're, this has got quite a bit of pull on it here, this tablecloth material. So I'm going to just back stitch that. And just sew a straight line all the way down to the end. And turn your corner. And I turned the corner too quickly, so I'm going to go back in and put a couple more stitches. There we go. Now we can turn. And fabric only usually stretches in one direction, so you'll see that it's very closely lined up with the muslin underneath again. These are easy sewing projects for beginners. This is not complicated. Anybody can do this. The machine I'm using is a Singer heavy duty machine. It's the one that typically sits in this spot. Just because I sew so many rugs, I keep this one in this spot. And if you want to see, all the products that I make are available on my website. Speaking of websites, if I can do this, you can too, and I sell on Shopify. If you're interested in starting your own Shopify store, follow the link in the video description. I will put a QR code right here for it right now. And Shopify has the best converting checkout. Over 10% of businesses in the States are now selling with Shopify. Their checkout converts up to 36 times better than their competitors. And if I can learn it, you can too. It's really not that hard. They walk you through everything, and they have all the apps and features and support teams that you can ask questions. So if you haven't started Shopify and you're thinking of doing it, now's the time. You could buy tablecloths on at Winners and make these projects here that I'm featuring in these videos and sell them off your Shopify store. Okay. So now the project looks like this, and we're going to turn it all inside out. Let's go. So all we need to do now is find the opening that we had for it, and we're going to pull the fabric through. Okay, here's our opening. It's quite wide. So I always start from the furthest away corner whenever I'm pulling stuff through, and then pull it through to the other side. And once we've got it all through, we're going to take our handy dandy turning tool, otherwise known as a chopstick, and we're going to push out all four corners of this, and then we're going to iron. So just find your corners, gently push them out to the edge, all four of them, and then we'll go over to the iron. Okay, so once you've got your corners pushed out and you're happy with that, come on over to the ironing board. And if for any reason you're not happy with how your pattern lines up, this is a great time to check it. If you need to sew a little bit on one side or the other, you can always turn it back the other way. So wrong side out, and just re-sew wherever you wanted to line it up on the pattern. So just in case something wasn't quite perfect for you. And when I sew, I always want to sew top side down for this, so that I always make sure the edge of the top is covering the edge of the bottom. And if you do it the other way around, you'll be fussing with it and then cursing me. So I use a little bit of steam. I want a nice crisp finish on this. And we're just going to do this all the way around, and then we're going to sew a flange. So that's going to be our decorative stitch all the way around. And the reason that I like to put a backing on my table runners is because I like the weight of it. If I was just to put this tablecloth material, just, rectangular tablecloth material, and put that down on my table, on my coffee table, I'm not sure how much I would like that. I think I like the weight a little bit. So again, this material has got a bit of metal fleck in it, and it likes to stick to the iron. So just watch the ironing instructions on whatever tablecloth you decide to purchase. Okay, so we're going to sew a double flange on the edge here. So I've just got where I'm going to start, just, you know, about half an inch down from the top, and I'm going to line up the side with the edge of my presser foot. I've got white thread in the machine. This is just on a straight stitch. So I'm just going to go all the way around the top of this. This is pretty quick and easy. Just make sure everything lays flat and you'll be good to go. I'm going to show you how to do all the way around on the first section, and then we'll line it up for the second round of the flange as well. And as you can see, the edge here is nicely hiding the muslin underneath. And now that we're stitching this down, it will always be that way. And we'll have a really nice weight to this table runner here for our living room. And as I'm doing these couple of videos here, I'm like, you know, I've had so many ideas to revamp my living room for so many years now that I've been working here on my business at Home Stitchery Decor. And I think this is the year I'm actually going to do it. And I'm going to videotape the whole thing. It just needs a refresh is what it needs. So today has been a great inspiration for me. And I think you guys will enjoy some of the projects I've just been able to even think of in my head here as I've been making the pillowcases and the table runner so far. Now I know what you're thinking, how does she know where to turn on that edge? And I'm sorry I didn't go over that part for you, but I will here in a second. This is where the opening is. So you just want to make sure that the edge of the material is getting pulled over top of that muslin. And because I did such a, you know, a wide hem on the inside, you'll be able to hide that opening quite easily. So as long as everything is going in flat, this will turn out lovely. Just go nice and slow, especially if your material has a little bit of metallic in it. You don't want to be going too fast or you run the risk of pulling the thread. This is where your needle selection is important as well. So how do I know where to turn here? So I've come up to the edge and then I'm just gonna sew until the split from my presser foot reaches the edge, and the second the split reaches the edge, that's where I know to turn. And then when I turn, it will be lined up again along the edge of the presser foot. So we're just coming up to the end here of the first row. I always like to do a double flange on this. On most of my products have a double flange on them. I just find that it's prettier. So that's why I do it. Is it prettier? Yes, it is. I'm always looking for that 1%. What is the 1% I could do to this product to make it look prettier? Okay, so now we're gonna do the next row of the flange, and we're basically just gonna do the same thing. Line your presser foot up along the edge now of the previous flange stitching, pull it down a half an inch from the top of the other flange stitching and start, and just keep your presser foot lined up along the edge as you go and go all the way around to the end, and it's going to line up perfectly with the edge, the first round of flange that we did. So just pull it right up to the edge, give it one more stitch and then back stitch, and we're done. Okay, so here we are. Here is the table runner that is now complete along with the pillow. Follow along with more tutorials on how I take one tablecloth and decorate my living room for Christmas, and then add all the other products in. So this is going to be a fun series, you guys, for DIY projects for Christmas decorating. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.